Yes, guys, welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late. That has been caused by technical issues. I have I'm one man, and I do the production, and I do the streaming, and I do everything. But I'm back, and we are back with another interesting article, piece of story. I did give you a sneak peek of what was going to be in this video. All transfers, confirmed deals that are going to happen about Arsenal in the summer. And for me, this is an interesting one, very, very interesting one. So if you are watching this video, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. It's just 2 hours away from Arsenal versus Sheffield. I'm going to be doing a live watch along for that video. So please, for that game. So please join me, for that game. I'm going to be doing a live watch along, and we're just going to spend 1 hour or less talking about Arsenal confirmed deals. What Fabrizio Romano has confirmed, because he was speaking on the Arsenal launch, and he said probably Arsenal is going to have one of the most unprecedented summers we have never had. Now, of course, he said he didn't confirm anything that Arsenal is going to sign this one, or he cannot confirm that Arsenal is going to sign this one or the other person. But one of the things he said, and for me it made a lot of sense, was Arsenal is going to have a big summer. Players are going to go out, and they're going to go and they're going to sign players. And he said right back, that is a confirmed issue. We are going to sign a right back. I'm going to talk about that in detail. He said we are going to go for a creative midfielder. We are going to talk about that. And he said we are also going to go for an attacking midfielder and more players. So there's so many things he talked about, and he was asked many questions. If you watched that video on the Arsenal launch, probably you know what I'm talking about by now. If you've not watched it, please head over there. They have nice content at the Arsenal launch. I really like their content, and I've used their content before. In that video. So let's get into it. First and foremost, I think the most interesting thing there is, what are the priority areas? Because that's the first question he was asked. What are the priority areas Arsenal is going to be looking at in this summer? And many people would say, of course, everybody has their own priorities. If you're an Arsenal fan, me as a person, I think we should go for the midfield first. I think we need two good midfielders. One that plays next to Thomas Partey, you can call him a central midfielder, and then you could also look at the attacking midfield, because I don't know whether Odegaard is going to stay, but we're going to discuss that again in detail. But for me, my priorities are in the midfield. Arsenal needs to get, players that, are good, are quality in that midfield. Now, according to Fabrizio Romano, he said, yes, the priorities of Arsenal are there, and the first position is the right back. And discussing the right back, he said Arsenal are going to be looking at Achraf Hakimi, £43 million. And he said the danger with that, and he said the option there is, they're either going to go for Achraf Hakimi or Tariq Lamptey. He said Tariq Lamptey has been, a name that has been forwarded before. Mikel has been talking about him. Edu has been talking about him. But Arteta, Edu, and the club are in love with Achraf Hakimi. He's having a tremendous season. He's having a wonderful season down there in Inter Milan. Of course, he had a very wonderful season last season at Borussia Dortmund. So it's no coincidence that Arsenal is interested. And one of the things I really like about the fact that I don't see many clubs interested in Achraf Hakimi. Probably it is Arsenal and Inter Milan, because Romano says Inter want to keep the player. They don't want to sell. They want to keep the player around. They want to keep the player around the club. They don't want to sell him, however much they're in a bad financial situation. So the only reason they're going to sell, the only reason they're going to be forced to sell, is the poor financial situation they're going to find themselves in. And Romano says that is the key if Arsenal are going to sign Hakimi. But he also says Arsenal are also in a very poor or a very bad financial situation. They might not be able to go for a player, especially in a right back, that is around 40 or 50 million pounds. So he said probably they could spend 50 million pounds on a midfielder on any other position like a striker, but they might not want to go for a right back that is 50 million pounds. So that for me brings in the aspect that Tariq Lamptey could be the player. Of course, we've been linked with a couple of other right backs, and of course, he talked about it. Fabrizio, he said Arsenal has been linked with more players than you can even think about. There are more players on the right back list than we fans know and the media know. probably, you can talk about players like Emerson, Real Betis, that, it's a name that has been, making rounds, here and there, and a couple of other players. But for me, the most interesting part there is if we do not go for Hakimi, then the next player in line is Lamptey. And Lamptey, trust me, is a very, very, very quality player. He's one of those players that I've looked at Arsenal and I'm like, yeah, not at Arsenal, in the Premier League at Brighton, okay. And because I feel he is kind of traditional, especially when he goes forward. He's more of the crossing type. He wants to reach that area and crossing balls. For me, that's my problem with him. Because and remember this season when I was talking about Tierney earlier in the season, I said you need to stop crossing. You need to start cutting in and creating chances off the floor. And I think Tariq Lamptey, that's my only problem with him. He likes crossing the ball. You just need to cut in and lay off passes, those diagonal passes, those crippling passes through the 18-yard box. I think that is what he needs to do. But he's a very, very fantastic player, and he would be a little bit cheaper. I don't know. Someone tell me, how is Brighton doing this season? Because I've been looking at Brighton, and I'm just feeling like, if they get relegated, it's a bad prayer, isn't it? But if they just get relegated, probably because they're 16th, they have 32 points. 32 points, and 18th Fulham is 26 points. So probably they might not get relegated. They look a little bit safer, from relegation. So they might not get relegation. If you look at the clubs in relegation, Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield, probably Brighton, if they can pick up a couple of wins and draws, they might actually stay. But they will need to sell players, because Fabrizio says the point there again is you have a club like Brighton who is which is a small team. They need the finances, they need the money to get to do transfers, to run their daily business, and they're being affected by COVID-19. So if Arsenal are trying to go for Bissouma and Lamptey, then probably there is a chance there. So the right back situation has been handled. I don't want anyone to ask me, because who are we going to sign in the right back? Fabrizio says yes, it is a confirmed deal. Arsenal will go for a right back. It's either Lamptey or Achraf Hakimi. Of course, if we cannot get Achraf Hakimi for 43 million, then we might actually go for a Lamptey for around 25 or 30 million. I suppose that could be the price. I don't know what you people think about those prices, whether they are much or okay. I don't know what you think. But let's move on to other confirmed deals that will be done. I've not talked about players that will leave, but of course Hector Bellerin is one of those players in the right back position. Fabrizio says the club is more in a position to consent with the idea now that the player will actually be leaving. And for me, there are no questions about that. There are no reasons for Bellerin to stay. He's had a poor season, 2 poor seasons. Cedric is poor. Chambers is poor. We just need a right back. And I think Bellerin leaving, because he's our main right back, he cannot take a throw in. I'm not really trolling him right now, but what I mean is, if Fabrizio Romano says the club wants to let him go, then you understand how poor he's been this season. Now, moving on to the other transfers that could actually happen around Arsenal in the summer. Apart from the right back position, we are looking for a player that will be playing alongside Thomas Partey. That is again according to Fabrizio Romano. He did say that Arsenal will go for a central midfielder and an attacking midfielder. And he said for an attacking midfielder, it is more likely that Martin Odegaard is the priority. We want to keep Martin Odegaard the first player Arsenal want to go for. The first player Arsenal want to prioritize in this window is Martin Odegaard. They want to first try to sign him. They want to do everything in their power to try to sign him. And you know what? I'm going to say this, and it will sound a little bit I don't know, very optimistic, but I think Martin Odegaard will stay at Arsenal. He might stay for another season on loan and then sign on a permanent deal, or probably we could actually sign him in the summer. I just feel it, and I'm going to give my reasons before I give what Fabrizio said. For me, why I think Odegaard will stay at Arsenal, the reasons are very clear. Madrid want money, and they want to bring in a big money signing. Of course, Fabrizio says it's all about Zinedine Zidane. is he going to use the player? Because it looks like Zidane is going to stay. He might win the La Liga. There is no way you're going to sack him if he wins the La Liga. He's had this kind of transformation from poor to better. As Real Madrid manager this season. But I just feel Real Madrid want to make this big money move, either Haaland or Mbappe. And I was on the football terrace last time, and I said, I think Madrid will do a big signing. I think Haaland could go to Madrid. And then KJ said, Madrid do not have the money, but they can't get that money. If Arsenal have signed a 72 million player before, Real Madrid can sign Mbappe. They can sign, Erling Haaland. And I just believe they just need to sell some players. The Jovics, who are not actually bring them any quality. Players like Martin Odegaard, those players that are not actually used right now. He would be a very integral part of Real Madrid. He would be a very, very, very integral part. I just feel Real Madrid would be making a mistake to sell him, but I also think they will sell him because, first and foremost, if you look at some of the players that they can sell to raise money in the summer to get players, it's Martin Odegaard. You could just get 50 million pounds. You could just get 40 million pounds or 30 million pounds up front, and the rest of the cash comes in as as installments. So I think we have a chance to sign Martin Odegaard. But according to Fabrizio Romano, he said, yes, he's a priority. Arsenal will be looking at him and they'll be saying he is the first player we want to go for. Until Martin Odegaard deal fails, we are not going for another attacking midfielder. Bravo, that's very good business from Arsenal. And it has also been confirmed again by Romano that at the end of the season, we shall sit down with Real Madrid to discuss the future of Dani Ceballos and Martin Odegaard. Now, the truth is, I want Dani Ceballos to go back to Real Madrid. Smash a like on the video if you want Ceballos to stay. And smash a like on the video if you want Ceballos to go back. Because, look, he's had 2 poor seasons. Last season, he wasn't so much of a great player. And I don't know why we got carried away, because I got carried away as a person. But he never had a good season. He never had this, bright season. He only had 5, 6 good games. And, we just rot him on water like Jesus. I just believe Ceballos needs to go back. But for Odegaard, I think we should do whatever we need to sign him. Romano said Arsenal are interested. They will do everything in their power to retain the signature of Martin Odegaard. And that's what we want to see. You want to see your club fight. You want to see your club try to get quality. Probably if we get Martin Odegaard, for me, it will be a very, very big move. So let us wait until May, because Fabrizio says it's going to be until May that the player and Real Madrid and Arsenal sit down as parties to discuss the future of the player. Of course, it has been confirmed that the player is very, very comfortable. And for me, that is interesting because we're giving him the playing time. We're giving him the development. We're giving him that relevance. We're making him important. He feels loved at the club. We're giving him the love that he would want. We're giving him that role of controlling a game. He feels like a king. You know what it means to be a king of Arsenal? Ask Henry. He'll tell you. So I think for Arsenal, the truth is, Odegaard, we have a chance to retain Martin Odegaard. But of course, away from Martin Odegaard, because actually apart from Martin Odegaard, he did talk about Paulo Dybala, and he said, okay, I want to quote him. I don't know whether I still remember the quote, but he said, I'm not saying that Arsenal are going to sign Paulo Dybala because there is nothing so far between Dybala and Arsenal. That is according to Fabrizio Romano. But he said, if you look at the situation with Dybala, that is the kind of deal you need to go as Arsenal. And you remember when I was talking about Dybala, probably it was a week back, and I was like, the truth is, Arsenal need to go for such signatures. You just need to go for such players. You just need to do these kinds of deals. They make you a different club. Dybala has 1 year left on his contract. It looks like Juventus are not going to retain him. They want to sell him. They want to cash in on him. I don't know whether it's going to be around 30 million or 35 or 40 or 45. I don't know the true valuation now of Dybala. But according to the last time I checked with the transfer market, he was in 100 million. Now, imagine a player rated at 100 million. He's had the season where he's not playing football. He's having contract issues and so on. And Juventus would want, they don't want to lose him on a free day, of course, in the last year. So what they want to do is get some money. Look, for me, if Martin Odegaard doesn't stay, Dybala would be a very, very good player. Both players are different. but they play in the same position and they will give you some similarities. But for me, I would prefer Odegaard because he's a game controller. I'm just tired of Arsenal having blackouts in games because we cannot control games. I like players like Odegaard. He controls the game. He decides when Arsenal do not have the ball, what do we do with the ball, and what do we do when we do not have the ball. Dybala is a kind of other player. He wants to be in these scoring positions. He wants to create chances, but he's not going to control the game for you. He doesn't have that. But he also wants to feel important. He also wants to feel that relevance of the player. So just in a sneak peek, I think Dybala would be a good player. But Romano says Arsenal should be doing such deals, and I think the truth is we should be doing such deals. So that is around the creative midfielder. Now, in the central midfield position, we have been linked with players like Joan Jordan, players like Nabil Fekir, players like Bissouma, and other players. Romano said, yes, Arsenal will be going for another top quality midfielder. And I love that. I really loved it because we've been seeing Thomas Partey struggling. And for me, one of the reasons he's struggling is the quality of players he's playing with. That is the truth. The quality of players around him is so low. Very, very poor. Poor. So you need that quality midfielder. And for me, this is one of the areas Arsenal have to think fast and well in the summer if they're going to fill it. Because if you're looking at Joan Jordan and Bissouma, these are two players that play in the same position, but they're giving you totally different things. And you want someone who plays with Thomas Partey. First and foremost, we have to look at what Partey gives us. I think Partey gives you that physicality. He gives you that, ability to maraud. Is that the word? The midfield and try to control, the defensive part of the midfield. I think a partner to Thomas Partey would be an ideal Ramsey. Now, I know someone is going to tell me, because stop your nonsense. We don't want Ramsey back. I'm not saying we get Ramsey back, but I think Ramsey has that quality of an assistant CM or an assistant DM, not actually DM, but because I think what we need as Arsenal is an assistant DM. We need someone who is going to assist Thomas Partey with those responsibilities. For example, receiving the ball and taking it forward. For example, creating chances from from far. For example, when we do not have the ball, helping us in getting that ball back. So I think the options there are so many. And Romano says Bissouma is a target, and the club love him, Arteta loves him, Edu loves Bissouma, but there is nothing advanced yet. Jean Jordan, there is nothing advanced yet. There is nothing advanced in regards to CM, but he says, yes, Arsenal are interested. And because he says, we want Houssem Aouar, Arsenal are still looking at Houssem Aouar, but the problem with Aouar is he loves Champions League football. That is where I said, no, man, it's over. Because I don't see Arsenal going for Champions League football unless we win the Europa League. And the result we got at the Emirates Stadium against Slavia Prague, for me, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. You don't dream of Champions League football with with those performances. You don't dream about football, Champions football with those performances. So, Houssem Aouar wants Champions football. If we can get Champions football, he can't join the club. So probably let us go Arsenal. Let us get Champions League football. Go for Houssem Aouar. Look, when I was doing my dream signings, check out the video on the channel if you have not seen it. I said Arsenal should be going for Houssem Aouar. And many people said, what? Because you said Houssem Aouar last season was blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I understand. I understand the frustration. But the reason I said we should go for Houssem Aouar is, the technically gifted player to play alongside Thomas Partey is the caliber of Houssem Aouar. I have my own reasons as to why I think Bissouma is so good, but we already have a Bissouma in Partey. I think if Partey gives you the best of the best, he's another Bissouma plus. So why do we need Bissouma? We need a player who is a little bit different, a player who is good at passing, soft feet, running around, blah, 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 using the left foot and all those things. For me, I think Houssem Aouar, Nabil Fekir, those would be the kind of players. But Romano says we are going to go for a central midfielder. And of course, in the other confirmed Arsenal news around the summer, it's been confirmed that Alexander Lacazette will be leaving Arsenal. Now, Romano said Arsenal might go for a new striker. They will be going for a new striker if Alexander Lacazette leaves in the transfer window. And of course, there's so many clubs that are interested in Lacazette. Of course, he's having a progressive season as compared to the previous seasons he has had at Arsenal. And for me, I appreciate that. I think many people will appreciate that. He's been there for Arsenal this season. There are not so many players that have stood with us. I think he's been there. He's banged in a couple of goals. He's missed a couple of good chances as well. I don't want us to forget that. But like I said, I think it's time to cash in on him. Get Juventus, get Atletico Madrid. They're going to give you the 30 million pounds. They're going to give you the 35 million pounds. Cash in on him. Use that money to buy a right back, or use that money to buy a CM first and foremost, because you have Balaga now signing on a 4-year deal that has been confirmed. You have you have more players actually getting in new contracts. You have Gabriel Martinelli there trying to break through. You have pierre-emerick Aubameyang. He needs to regain his form. You need to give him more a chance to prove himself. For me, what you've got to do as Arsenal is sell Lacazette and reinvest in the squad, because that is what we have to do. That's what we have got to do. All this shit of FFP being scrapped, that doesn't benefit us. Arsenal doesn't benefit from FFP being scrapped, because Kroenke is never going to spend that money. If you remember when I was doing Kroenke out, I said Kroenke did not spend a single penny, invest a single penny in Arsenal transfers for a full decade, 10 years. For a full decade, he didn't invest money there. But and it was also confirmed that Mikel Arteta is also going to stay as Arsenal manager. The club wants him, and they are going to back him. So probably those are the signings we could see come at Arsenal. Those are the rumors that we are linked with. And Romano, that is how Romano actually reacted to them and said, yes, some are true, some are not very, very true. And the players, when he was asked about the players that could leave, and for me, that is interesting. I wanted to know which players could leave Arsenal, who could be making way in the summer. He said Hector Bellerin could leave. Kolasinac could also leave the club as well. Matteo Guendouzi, we have to wait and see, and Lucas Torreira. We also have to wait and see what's going to happen with David Luiz. So those are the 5 players you said are going to leave. But for me, this looks like Xhaka is not going to be leaving the club. Now, I don't mean to say Xhaka is so poor, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to attack him, right now, because I'm not going to attack him anyway. But I think Xhaka should be also making way. If you're looking at a central midfielder, Xhaka should be making way. I mean, what is he still doing at this club? He should be making way. He's been one of those consistent players this season. He's been good, but we need to do better, not so? If you agree that we need to do better as Arsenal, smash a like on the video, guys. Let's get them to 100 likes, throughout this video. Please do make me very, very proud. So those are the players that could be leaving. Of course, Romano talked about the ability or the prospect that Arsenal will be getting in a left back as a backup to Kieran Tierney. And he said in January we were actually looking at Junior Filippo. I've not seen that guy so many times. That's the truth. I've not seen Junior Filippo so many times. But he said yes, Arsenal is looking at Junior Filippo as one of those players that could be coming in as an option to Kieran Tierney if he gets injured in the next season. So those are some of the confirmed transfers. If you want to react, please do call in. The link is in the commentary section. I put it in. Call in, and I'm going to be looking at some of your comments right now. The Relentless Sports Hub, he said, big up, how are you doing, my brother? Relentless, how are you? Hello, Kosis, this is Olajide. How are you going? How are you doing, Olajide? Kosi, I missed the first stream, but now I'm on. Thank you so much, Peterson. Thank you so much, Peter. I really do appreciate, by the way, Peter, the love and the work. Frank Mahese says, I wish to see Yves Bissouma playing for us, no? I think he's the right partner for Thomas Partey. Look, let me just react to your comment in a second. And I hope I'm not going to be disappointing, because I don't want to be disappointing. Bissouma is a good player. And I know many people are attracted to Bissouma because of his style of play, because he's having a tremendous season and so on. But you've got to ask yourself as an Arsenal fan, what are we lacking? Because for me, that's the big question. What are we lacking? Are we lacking a player like Bissouma, or are we lacking a player like Cazorla? Let me ask you, just let me ask you this question. If you had Bissouma right now and Santi Cazorla, who would you take as a national player right now? I'm not, okay, I'm considering Cazorla to be that kind of player that you think he is. I think we need a player in the quality of Santiago Cazorla. I don't know whether I'm right or not, but that's what I think. We need Cazorla, man the midfield, pass around, run around, break through the lines, tire the opponent, make them tired. That is the player we need. Bissouma, the qualities Bissouma gives you is, for me, what Partey is giving you. I think United did Bissouma more. I think if Fernandinho leaves Manchester City and City go for Bissouma, they need him. Yes, do Arsenal need him that much? I don't think. For me, I think we need a player. If you told me we need Yuri Tillemans, yes, we need Tillemans. But Ndidi, Bissouma, Somare, I think those players are, are in a package. They are packaged in what Thomas Partey will give us next season if we can actually cope up with the Premier League. Nice, your back courses should be a busy summer. Yeah, this should be a busy summer time. This should be a very, very big summer. First and foremost, when Mikel says it's going to be unprecedented, they need to show it, because they've said this is their manager. They said they're going to back him. They said he's going to stay. You're not going to make us believe and support a manager who is having the worst records in history if you're not backing him. They said it's going to be an unprecedented January. It wasn't unprecedented. That was not unprecedented. That was bullshit. We never went, we didn't bring in a backup left back, and now Kieran is injured, and we're using Cedric, who's using a right leg as a right back. That wasn't unprecedented. So it should be a big one. Thank you so much, Kosi. We need a good creative midfielder and a right back, left back backup. Big up. This is what I've been talking about. The priorities. Big up. I really do appreciate that. I have someone on the call, and I would love to have them on. Relentless. How are you doing, Relentless?
Yeah, man. What's going on, man?
I'm good. I think I'm back. I should say I'm good and I'm back.
Well, yeah, what makes it good? Because, but Arsenal stressing me out, man.
Of course, regarding Arsenal, it's shambles. It's been shambles. I think for the past, ever since West Ham, it's been shambles. But I've been reacting to. I think you've been on. I've been reacting to Fabrice Romano's comments on what our summer will look like, and I hope I've done. I hope I've done you people, service. But it says, first and foremost, he says we are going to go for a right back, but he says it's very difficult for Hakimi, however much we love him, and I don't understand. I don't understand why Arsenal is saying they want Hakimi, yet the price is not going to be favorable. But do you look at, if you were asked Hakimi and Lamptey, who would you go for?
Before I continue, man, this big up for having me on. Again. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, but for me, it's a bit hard. I think Hakimi is the better player, and I would go. Who do you think will be cheaper? I think Hakimi would be cheaper because if you look at Tariq Lamptey, they might put like an English tax on him because he's English. You might end up like an extra, 20 million, 10 million.
Yeah.
I actually think that Brighton will sell him for like 50 million plus. And if Inter Milan are only asking for 45 million, I don't think that's a bad price because for the potential that Hakimi has, I would take him.
Yeah, I I would take Hakimi as well, and I think Inter Milan will be willing to sell. However much Fabrizio says they don't want to sell and so on, but they'll be willing to sell because they need that money. They are in a difficult, financial situation. But if you look at our club right now, what are your two priority areas? What are your two priority areas? Because for me, it's the midfield. It's all about the midfield. I would do with Chambers for another season, but I can't do with that midfield for another season. So, what are your priorities? What would be your priorities going into the summer?
It'll probably be the same place, just in terms of like the same places we've been talking about the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I still feel like we need a defender. We need a right back. We need a decent enough backup left back to Tierney, and we need a striker. Sell Aubameyang, sell Lacazette, and get someone. I don't know who, but just get someone. For me, if you sell Lacazette and sell Aubameyang, get Edouard from Celtic.
Hmm.
And if we really want to be brave, why not go get Martial or something?
The truth is, I wouldn't do Martial, and I know you're kidding. You wouldn't do Martial, but of course, for me. Lacazette is not going to is not going to have my trust. I cannot give him a new contract. That's the truth. But for me, I don't look at the striking line as a priority area right now because the truth is, Aubameyang, I can get Aubameyang to score goals. We can get Aubameyang to score goals. I just feel like we can get Aubameyang to score goals. I think what we need to do as a club there is try to provide for what Aubameyang can finish, and I think Awa can do that. I think if you have Partey, you have Awa, if you have Odegaard, I think they can do that. He's having a stinker of a season. I do agree, but still, our priorities are far from the striking line. Let me just ask you about this because it's another thing that is in really 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 big contention. Bissouma, Jean Jordan, Awa. Who do you look at who do you look at as the perfect partner for Thomas Partey? I like Bissouma. I don't rate him as the next partner for Thomas Partey. I don't think he has the the technical abilities we want in that area. Many people want him and they rate him, as the next person who should be playing in that area. Which kind of player, which kind of quality would you want next to Thomas Partey?
See, my ultimate dream will probably be indeed next to Partey, but that's not realistic. So I'll probably say either Zambo and Wisa from Fulham, Basuma at Brighton, or if you don't want to get in the Premier League, you can go to the Bundesliga and get what's his name, the one at Muchen Gladbach.
Zakaria.
Yes, Zakaria. Get a Zakaria. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
Okay, it's Eamon says I think Hakimi is the best option in the right back. We shall see in the summer. Ceballos should go back. How do you rate Ceballos this season? Relentless. How do you rate Ceballos this season?
Hey, listen. I'm also Lord have mercy. Oh God. You see the thing is, you know how like Arsenal fans say, oh yeah, we should send them back to Real Madrid. Don't even send him back to Real Madrid. Bro, I'm a Real Madrid. I'm a Real Madrid fan. I don't want him back. Yeah. Ask Real Madrid. I don't want him back. He needs to go to the under 23s of the under 23s. He definitely needs to go. The under 18s.
You know what DT said? Did he say send him to Real Madrid back and put him in an Odegaard shard and hope they don't realize? You know what that means? You know what? He's having a very, very poor season. Very, very poor season. And I think if Arsenal try to sign him, I'm going to be very, very surprised. Just like I'm surprised that there are rumors that Arsenal want to extend the contract of Mohamed El Neni. I was like, Come on, seriously, what are you talking about? But that's how we roll as Arsenal. Instead of signing another central midfielder, why not bring Genduzi back for him to help Thomas Partey? We need to talk about this as well. I think it's an interesting point. Um, I rate Genduzi as a young player. I think he's really, really talented as a player. What do you think? What do you think? Relentless Genduzi, Thomas Partey. Is he the quality? Is Genduzi the quality? Has he reached that level of playing next to Partey?
I do think
I
he
do
can
think
do a
he can do a
job.
job.
Maybe in the
Maybe
long
in the long
term,
term,
not really.
not really.
But I do
But I
think
do
if
think if
Gendozi comes
Gendozi
back,
comes
he will
back, he
be
will
one
be
of our
one of our
better players.
players.
Mm.
Because I do
Because
think
I
he
do
has
think
the
he has the
quality.
quality.
So
So
for me,
for me,
if
if
Arteta puts
Arteta
his
puts his
differences
differences
aside
aside
with
with
Gendozi, which I
Gendozi,
don't
which
think
I
he
don't think
will,
he will,
because I know he
because I
doesn't
know he
like
doesn't like
Gendozi.
Gendozi.
Yeah.
He should
He
be good
should
for
be
the
good for the
future
future
because
because
Gendozi has
Gendozi
a lot
has
of
a lot of
talent.
talent.
Even though some
Even though
Arsenal
some
fans don't
Arsenal
really
fans
like
don't really
him,
like him,
I still
I
think that
still
he has
think
the
that he has the
ability to
ability
make
to
us
make
better
us better
and add
and
value
add
to the
value to
team.
the team.
Yeah, and I think if you put him next to players like like Partey and Odegaard, where he's going to feel a little bit more comfortable, he could be he could do more, he could do more services than harm in the midfield. Because I remember under Unai Emery, he was our main midfielder, if I still remember, creating chances from far deep.
Yeah. And like I said, that's
Like I said,
something he
that's
can
something he
do.
can do.
Like, do you
Like,
remember
do
the
you remember
goal
the goal
Aubameyang scored
Aubameyang
in
scored
the
in the
uh,
uh,
that was
that was
assisted from
assisted from
Gendozi
in
in
the
the Tottenham game
Tottenham game
at
Yeah,
home?
at
against
home?
Tottenham. Against Tottenham, that was
He dinked
so.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
he dinked it over
exactly.
the defense. Like,
Yeah,
he can
that's
do that.
brilliant. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think, but just as we close this down, because I have to go and then prepare for the watch along and then the match reactions. But what do you think about this summer? Do you think it's going to be any different, kind of unprecedented? What do you think about this summer?
I think it will
I
be
think
the
it will be the
same
same
stuff. If
stuff.
we
If
bring
we bring
in,
in,
we're
we're
probably gonna
probably
get
gonna
rid
get
of
rid of
Kolasinac
Kolasinac
permanently.
permanently.
Um,
Um,
I do
I
think
do
Bellerin
think
will
Bellerin
stay.
will stay.
Mm.
And if
And
we're gonna
if we're
bring
gonna
in new
bring in new
players,
players,
it'll probably
it'll
be
probably be
some like
some like
average
average
players.
player.
We'll probably
We'll
bring in
probably
a
bring in a
goalkeeper
goalkeeper
maybe if we don't
if we
get
don't get
Matt Ryan
Matt
to
Ryan to
resign.
resign.
I'm not
I'm not
expecting
expecting
anything
anything
from him, to
from
be
him, to be
honest.
honest.
Okay, thank you, Relentless. I hope you come on the match reaction. Probably I'll do a watch along as well. So I hope to talk to you more and more and more and more, because I just want us to go back to that level where we were, having the discussions. They were very, very interesting, way back in December.
Man.
Yeah,
Big up,
man.
man.
Big up, man.
Are
Thank
you
you.
still
Are you
Arteta
still
out,
Arteta
man?
out, man?
I'm still at it out. I've done my videos. I've done my videos about Mikel Arteta out. I've done my videos about Mikel
Yeah,
Arteta.
come
I think I
on,
have
man.
one that is, very recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay,
Big up, man.
Big up, man.
big up, bro. Okay, thank you so much. Of course, if you want to call in, ever on these shows, just like Relentless does, the links are always in the comment section. I put them there so that you guys can call in and have your say. It has been Arsenal's transfer summer. That is what we expect, according to Fabrice Romano. Arsenal could have an unprecedented transfer summer. I'll be back with the match watch along Arsenal up against Sheffield, the match reaction, and more of your phone calls. For now, I want to sign out, but I say smash the like button. Thank you for watching, first and foremost. Smash the like button, people. Please do. 7 of you watching. Let's have 7 likes instantly on the video. After subscribing, turn on the notification button, because whenever we come live, you guys are not going to miss content.